Hey guys, thanks for stopping by my channel. So I recently put lower handlebars on my Interceptor 650, and in my last video I mentioned that the clutch and throttle cables work just fine with the lower bars, but they're a little bit too long. They want to push forward and pop out of the clips, so I got a shorter clutch cable from Venhill and I got a throttle cable kit from Domino. After you disconnect the throttle cables from the throttle rotor, you can remove this retaining nut with the size 14 wrench. Once you get it out, the throttle cable will just pull out of the housing. To get the other side out, you need to remove this screw. And once you get that out, the cable just pulls right out again. I got new throttle cables from Domino, and the kit comes with a bunch of different fittings you can use, but I'm actually going to use the fittings from the original cables, just so things fit up better at the throttle body. I need to use this retaining nut from the original cable on the new cables, so you can use a wrench to loosen this up. Then take this nut all the way off, and we can remove the piece we need. Then you can take the new cable apart the same way you did the old one. Now we can slide the retaining nut from the original cable onto the new one. On one of the new cables, there's a retaining sleeve at the end, and this won't fit the Interceptor 650. So we'll take it off and we'll use the original one. I used these wire and cable cutters to cut the fitting from the original cable, and now I'm going to use this pipe cutter to cut back right behind the original crimp. There's a small sleeve on the inside we need to remove. You can take a small screwdriver and just push on the inside, and it comes out. Now I'm going to bore this out so the cable will sit down inside and recess just a little bit. I mounted one of the new outer cables to the handlebars, and I mounted one of the original ferrules on the throttle cable bracket. Then I just took a paint pen and I marked the outer cable where I'm going to cut it. Put the sleeve back in the ferrule. And cut the end off with a razor blade. The outer cable fits pretty tight in the ferrule, so I'm not going to glue it or crimp it. I'm just going to use some heat shrink to keep it in place. Now you can put the inner cable inside the outer cable, and if it binds up at the joints, spin the inner cable, and it should start going. I put some masking tape on the throttle just so it won't spin while I'm working. At the throttle body, I just pulled the wire around and used a marker to mark where the nipple's going to go. The new nipples just slide over the wire, and there's a retaining nut that keeps them in place. I used some Loctite just to be safe, and then you just cut off the rest of the wire. Now we can put the cables back in the throttle body. Put the throttle cable bracket on. Once you get everything adjusted, just make sure there's nothing binding up and make sure the throttle returns to idle by itself. For the clutch cable, I went through a company called Venhill, and they make clutch cables for the Interceptor 650 in specific lengths. So I ordered this cable 2 inches shorter than the stock one. Don't remove this black plastic piece on the nipple, it's supposed to stay there. Now with the new cables, when I turn the wheel, the cables don't pop out of the clips anymore. The throttle cables aren't rubbing against anything either. Well, that's all I've got for today, guys. Thanks for watching. If you haven't already, go ahead, click subscribe, and stay up to date with my latest videos. Well, thanks again, and have a wonderful day.